Now, Grandma, this dish goes all the way back to the Civil War era.
It sure does, y'all. We are making crackling cornbread this morning.
You had a bunch of requests.
I had a bunch of requests. When I did my video the other day on my stir-fry collards and cabbage, and I put cracklings in it, I had a request for crackling cornbread because when I did my lacy cornbread on that same video, I put a few cracklings in it. Now this is just, they're skinless cracklings that they have just rendered down. I just buy them at a little meat market right up the road here. And in my, this is what I'm gonna cook my crackling cornbread in. This is what I like to cook my cornbread in lots of times. And it's made like kind of like a pie. It's got the 8 sections in it. And this is bacon grease. Now you can use lard, bacon grease, whatever kind of oil you want to put in yours, it'll be great. But this morning I wanted to do bacon grease. And I've got my burner on behind me. And I'm putting it on like kind of high because I want to heat that oil really well. And while that's happening, this is going to be gluten-free now. Not low carb, but gluten-free. I have got 1 cup of plain cornmeal, 1/4 cup of gluten-free flour. I'm putting, to that I've got 2, this has no leveling agent in it, so I'm putting 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt because it has no salt, no nothing in it. All right. Now, to that, we don't like our sweet, but we do like just a little bit of sweetness, sweet kind of in it. So that's 1 tablespoon of stevia. All right, I'll stir all this up together. That's my dry ingredients. Now this is quick, easy, short. It doesn't take long at all to cook it. I've got my oven set on 450 degrees. I'll measure this buttermilk for you. That's 3/4 of a cup right there, and it's whole buttermilk. It's not your low fat. If I can help it, I do not buy low fat, but sometimes that's all I can find. All right, that was 1 cup because that was another 1/4 cup. Now, before I see how the consistency is, the end consistency is going to be, I'm going to add my egg. I'm going to add 1 egg. Now, you can double this recipe very easily. I mean, very easily. And just make it in a bigger pan, make it in 2 pans. But your egg is going to add some moisture to it. So before you finish adding your buttermilk, you want to put your egg in it. And if you double, use 2 eggs. And that is not enough. I got more buttermilk in the refrigerator. So that was 1, and that was about 1/8 of a cup right there. My oven just came up to temp. And I'm going to need a little bit more buttermilk. So in all, that's been about 1.5 cups of buttermilk. And I think that's going to be, that's it, right there. That's the consistency you want. I'm going to add a little bit more because I'm going to put my cracklings in it. Okay. Just a good 1.5 cups of buttermilk. All right, now this is a cup of cracklings. That's up to you as to how many you put in yours. But a cup is, for this recipe, a cup is really good. Not too many, not too few. Okay. I've got to bring my, as soon as my, oh, it's hot, it's smoking, okay? And that's what you want. You want your pan to be smoking, and you want to have enough grease in it. That's the reason I've got this cutting board here. You want to have enough grease in it to where it really
Yeah, that's not a plastic cutting board.
Oh, no, no, no. You hear that?
You want it to fry like that, don't you?
Because that forms a really good crust on the bottom of your cornbread. Okay. I may have a little bit left over, but I got a little bitty cast iron skillet. I'll make just a little pone, but I may not. Okay, I think I can get it all in here. Yeah, I can. All right. Y'all, this is the best cornbread. If you've never had crackling cornbread, go to your butcher or go to the grocery store and get you some cracklings. Follow this recipe for gluten-free. Now, if you're not gluten-free and you want to make it with your regular cornmeal, you just use your regular cornmeal mix, ever how you make yours, and just add your cracklings to it. So, I'm going to put this in my 450 degree oven, and I'm going to set it to 20 minutes. It should be done then, and we'll come back and give it a taste for y'all to show you what my crackling cornbread is going to look like.
Grandmama, that's lovely.
Look at that.
Beautiful. Let's eat.
Now, y'all, 20 minutes on 450. Now, I have melted some butter. Now, this is what takes it over the top right here. If you want to put honey on it, mix you a little honey with your butter and put some honey butter on it. So good. All right.
Now, the glycemic load for each one of these pieces, there's 8 pieces, and she used 1.25 cups of cornmeal and no gluten flour, which would be a total of 81 on the glycemic scale. So if you divide that by 8, it winds up that each piece of this has a glycemic load of 10, which is low, but
I want y'all to look at how that bread comes out of there. Look at that.
beautiful, Rose. That's beautiful.
I used to have trouble with my pan, with my bread always sticking, but I seasoned my pan really well, and then I learned I was not putting enough oil in it. So you have to put enough oil in it so your bread does not stick. Look at that. You think it's too much, but it's not.
And that's even if your skillet is seasoned well, and hers is. You still have to put
Look at
some
that.
oil in there. Honey, that's
Isn't
gorgeous.
that pretty?
That's delicious.
All right. This, let me put this back over here because it is hot. It is so hot, I had several hot pads that I put it on.
Now you can eat one piece of this and green vegetables, just the rest of your meal, green vegetables and meat, which would give you no more carb load. You'd wind up with a 10 on the glycemic scale, a glycemic load of 10 for your whole meal, which you could do because it's still low. 10 and below is low.
Okay, we got a baby one here. You see that baby one? I didn't put quite as much in it. I used to, when my kids were little, I used to always make them a baby biscuit. When I was making biscuit, I'd make each one of them a baby biscuit. My mom always did that for us. So we got a baby piece of cornbread today. All right, as soon as this cools a little bit, we're going to taste of it.
Here I am. I don't get featured every now but once in a while. So this is just one of my favorite foods. So Grandma Rose is letting me feature it. I'm telling you what. Now, you're talking about with greens and squash and broccoli and cauliflower and green beans. Oh my goodness. And a good piece of chicken or pork.
And just a piece of cornbread with butter by itself.
Ooh. Now, this small one is about 5 on the glycemic scale. The big one is 10. So I'm gonna show you just how, oh, I want to show you. When you turn them over, you're talking about the best taste in the world is this brown, crusty crust that it has on it. But I love it with buttermilk. Now, Rose can't stand buttermilk, so she has to turn her head.
I love to cook with it, but I do not drink it.
She has to turn her head when I drink it. I don't get to kiss her for a week if I drink buttermilk. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but you see how fluffy that is? Full of holes.
Don't forget your baking powder. That's what your baking powder does.
Wow, Grandmama. I wish y'all could have some. This is good old-fashioned home cooking, let me tell you. Vegetables and crackling cornbread.
Food feeds the family.
Family feeds the heart, and God feeds the soul. And thank y'all for pressing the subscription button and for forwarding this to other people, because that's the way you help us on our YouTube channel. So help Grandmama by forwarding this to somebody else that would be interested.